The blind is 10, 20, BB&T 20. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Shuffle from your guys.
No, fell asleep.
Fold. 40. Raise to 40.
So it's a big welcome back today to the Oakwood premiere here in South Melbourne, and it's all action as we come back for the final table of the Brendan Favola event, which he bought into multiple times but has not made the final table. And I don't even think he's going to be here to present the trophy, unfortunately, but it is Fevs Fever. This is a $500 plus $100 booking fee buy-in event. We're down to our last 8 here on our RFID feature table, and Harvey Silver with you, and for a little while at least, our head of operations Josh Muck has jumped in as well.
How are you, mate? You good?
I'm great. Had a good sleep, which is good, even though it was a very, very late finish.
Sure. And what about the view? It's good up here during the day, isn't it?
Geez, it's wouldn't want to be anywhere else. We'll talk you through and hopefully show you a little bit of that, but we'll go straight to the action here because we've picked up aces.
Have a look at that view. Aces versus the King Queen versus the 6-7 off. 3-way action to the flop. Here we go. And Will here with an absolute monster. 79% equity. He's picked up the aces. He's got the overpair with a nut flush draw. Rob McDaffrey's got the gut shot with the 2 overs, and Matty's hit bottom pair. Over to Will. It's got about 20k, which is the min. Matty's going to fold.
Raise 70.
Decides to raise that. Interesting.
Hmm.
We'll just trying to stay calm here.
Will must be licking his lips here, mate. The overpair with the nut flush draw. Huge amount of equity here, 86-14. Matt's trying to make a play here with bottom pair. So then you've got 3 outs, as you can see at the top of the screen. Will, I think, might just flat here. Yeah, lovely play here by Will.
Has a
10 cards, the offsuit 4. Doesn't help Matty. But I think he might continue with his story here. Will, I can tell you, is going absolutely nowhere in this hand, Harvey.
No.
bet 40. All in.
Goes all in. That'll be a quick fold, sorry, I imagine, from Matt here. Well, maybe not that quick because he wants to create a bit of an image first hand.
Fold.
There we go.
The party's over.
The party's over. But I reckon the party's just starting. If this tournament's any evidence of what we're going to see on the final table, it was crazy last night.
Was it?
Chips flying everywhere.
Good banter?
Good banter.
Good. Lovely.
Very different. We came off the back of the $2,250 buy-in PLO, and it got very serious and very slow and very deliberate.
Sure.
We brought this up here last night, and it was a lot of fun. There was a few guys who knew each other on the table, and we also had Brendan Favola and his daughter Lenny sitting next to him, which was great. And I saw a bit of that last night. Then ended the stream. Everyone went back down to the main floor, and we played this down to 8, and it finished at about 2 a.m. to get down to 8. So
yeah, about 2:35 actually. Yeah, it was a late one.
I was gone by that stage, to be honest. So these guys got home, had to chill a bit, get some sleep, and now they're back here 12 hours later and playing for $16,000 up top. Pretty good.
Beautiful.
Pretty good. $500 buy-in event.
Yeah, great start to a Saturday, wouldn't it?
Isn't it? What? Now, It's an even better start to a Saturday for one of our players. The eagle-eyed people will notice there is an empty chair there. So, Charbel Suka, I understand, is playing footy this morning.
He said to us last night, he said, any chance we could push that final table back a little bit? I said, look, we have to come back at 2 o'clock because of the flow of the rest of the schedule. He goes, I've got footy till 2. And then I'll jump in the car, get down there, and I'll see you when I'm there. I said, okay, sure. So he's on his way. He should be here probably in the next 10 minutes, give or take.
He's going to be in good shape too because he's got a lot of chips and he's just going to have people getting knocked out all over the place. We see our short stack, Luke Tunnicliffe, push all in here. The pocket 9s. And Stephen's got pocket 7s.
13.
It's another
130.
90k to call off his 320 stack.
I mean, I would be calling here. Only 90 more to call. Blinds are 10, 20, 20. Blinds do go up 20, 40, 40 next level. So, in my opinion, this is let it go. Call it off. See what he's holding and see if you can win it. Take it down, bust a player, go up in the money jump.
So it looks like a bit of a tough decision for him here. He's already called the initial raise, so it's another 90. Probably think it's almost an insta call, but I don't know, maybe he's not actually sure. Has he got anyone playing after him here, or is it just him to go heads up here?
Just heads up, it appears.
Yeah, he's taking a long time to make what actually would be a really good decision if he does fold, but I would have thought, having put 40 already in, and he's still got 320 behind. The pot's 220 already. It just seems like it's got to be a call, doesn't it? But he folds and makes a credible fold there.
Yeah, it's a good fold.
Yep. Maybe got a read, or he just doesn't want to gamble too much in these really early stages. So he's also going to know from last night that Luke is an incredibly tight player. I know Luke very well. Luke actually is executive producer of Jam TV, Eddie Maguire's.
Yeah, right. Okay, there you go.
And I know Luke very well, and Luke would be, without a shadow of a doubt, the tightest player on this table. So maybe he played with him last night and saw that.
Sure.
So,
or maybe he was helping out Charbel by tanking so long so that Sharp could get here, get his hamburger in, and play some cards.
I reckon Sharp's the favourite here, and he's not even sitting at the table. So
I agree.
I'll tell you what, I will be concerned though if he just jumps in the car after footy and rocks up in his footy gear all muddy and no, that I won't. That's not acceptable. I'm sorry, not on a stream anyway.
He's a gentleman, Charbel. He'll be here. Bells and whistles, clean as a whistle.
But that was funny when he wrapped up last night and said, "I've got a footy game till 2. Can you push it back a bit?" So
that was funny. Anyway, under the gun, Stephen's got the 7-2. He's going to put that in the bin. Madaffrey with the 89. So he's got to put that in the bin. Round to Luke. 10-9 off. Under the gun plus 2. Only 20k to call.
no,
He doesn't like it.
No.
Charlie here. Stacking all of his chips up into just one big pile.
40.
With the natural 9, 5-4 suited. Just going to raise it the structure here around to Stewart. Stewart doesn't have any part of it. Just going to put that in the bin in the cutoff. Matt Thompson with the Nintendo puts in the bin, and Charbel, who's not even at the table, has actually got pocket jacks here. Ah, dear. And that's obviously a hand that's been folded. Around to Will, he picks up the pocket 2s. He's going to see a flop.
So that's the first time I've actually realised that the player who's not sitting there, we still see his cards.
Well, he still gets dealt in.
I know, but we still see them. I didn't realise they get put down on the RFID. So you're going to actually give it to him. Once he rocks up, you're going to say, mate, you got dealt so many monsters and you weren't even here.
Talk about monster. Have a look at this monster here. Charlie's raised it pre-flop and just absolutely flops the joint here.
Fair. Unfortunately, he's got a player who's got a tiny little pocket pair, but he might think that flop is not terrible for pocket twos. But he's really got no part of that. So does
Raise to 50.
think that they might be okay.
We're just going to raise this up to 50. I mean, look at this spot here for Charlie.
Yeah.
Just flops the joint here. Huge amount of equity, 97%. Will would need a miracle to win this pot. He's going to have another look, but he knows exactly what he's holding.
So how do you play this early on the final table? Do you just drag him along, just call and drag him along, or do you try and maximise this?
Call.
He's just going to call.
Yeah, great call here by Charlie. And good read by you too, Harvey, to be honest. Off to the turn card. Great card. Even better card for Charlie, even though he's got the joint. Picks up the flush draw as well, just in case his straight isn't good enough. Will drawing absolutely stone muddleless. He can't win this hand. Let's see what he's going to do.
Going to continue the story though.
He will.
75.
Now, I'm sure Charlie's just thinking.
All in.
Yeah, I was about to say
Charlie's just going to jam it.
And
Fold.
unfortunately, Will had nothing from Charlie's perspective.
Now, how well did Charbel play that hand there?
Not brilliantly.
He gets dealt the pocket jacks.
Folded his pocket jacks.
He's not here. He probably would have stacked
probably-
stacked off on that particular hand.
Exactly.
Gets away from a guy who flops the nut joint. So well played, Chubbs. Very good. Those of you just tuning in, we are live on a 25-minute delay at the Oakwood Premier Melbourne. You are watching Fevs Fever, which started yesterday at 6 o'clock. Had some stars in there, some celebrities. It's a $500 tournament entry with a $100 ticketing fee, brought to you by Dazzler Tickets. It's $50,000 guarantee. We actually missed the guarantee by 8 spots last night.
Spots.
So we're going to chuck a few more dollars into the prize pool
But
ourselves.
it's the first one.
That's true.
I mean, and most of the guarantees obviously have been smashed, and we're going to start talking about the main event pretty soon because this is just going to be ridiculous.
Oh, it's going to be off.
It's going to be off the charts.
Yeah.
We've hit the guarantee after 2 flights.
Pretty close
And
to
we
it at
haven't-
least,
yeah,
yeah.
we're 4 short today.
I think, yeah,
Sort of 4
something like
short,
that. Yeah, sure.
And we haven't even hit the weekend yet. So the 2 weekend flights. Wow. So that's going to be massive.
Fold.
Just goes to show it, with that main event flight yesterday, it probably put a bit of pressure on the Fevs Fever to get to that guarantee. But with 93 entries into the flight yesterday, that's what you want. We're tracking for something like a $450,000 prize pool or plus. Most likely, it could easily get over 500 if I'm being honest with you. But
I think it will get over 500 as Will now picks up kings. A lot of pocket pairs, Will. Had aces, 2s, kings now.
120.
We've only just started
120.
playing.
Raise to 120.
He 3-bets it.
Stevie here in the big blind. Got the jack 8, 100 to call. He's going to elect to fold. Render Charlie, only 70 more. Chip stack of about 375k, 70k to call. These queen 10.
Takes his little chip protector off there. What is that? Is that a Ninja Turtle or
Looks like a Pokemon, some sort of Pokemon. Oh,
someone's going to tell us in the
yeah.
chat.
If you know what it is, let us know in the chat so we know what we're doing. Going to have a look down here, Queen 10. He's going to put that in the bin and we'll take that down.
So it makes up those chips that he donated. in the last hand. And there are our chip counts. Matt Thompson now our short stack. And a reminder that our chip leader isn't even sitting at the table. He has gone to play local AFL. Must be Rezzies, I would say, if he's going to be here finishing at 2 o'clock. He's preferred a suburban Rezzies game ahead of trying to win 16K, but that just tells you everything, doesn't it?
It does.
He will be here.
Or it's a strategy. It could be a strategy too, Harvey. He thinks, I've got enough to be able to blind out.
I love the strategy. He's the favourite.
Yeah.
While we're down to 7 now, while everyone's knocking each other out, he's having a shower and putting his clothes on. So
that's it.
I don't mind the strategy at all. And just talking about last night with, just falling short of the guarantee here because there were so many players playing that main event flight. People might think, oh, yeah, it's a bit empty down there. It's a bit quiet. Oh, my God, it was packed down there last night because there's multiple events going. There's also satellite going for the main event, and it was all action down there. It was great. It was noisy and fun. So our main floor is down on floor 5, and we have another ante-room on floor 3, and then we're right up here on floor 41, top level at the Oakwood, and we've set up this fantastic James Bond Casino Royale room, single table. The guys have got their own bar. If you make the final table, the drinks are on the house. And
there was a few drinks last night, from what I understand, Harvey.
Drinks. It was raucous last night. Very, very different coming back during the day.
Sure. Not much action here, to be honest. It's been folded around to the small blind versus blind action. Stephen here with the Jack 7 off. 270K. He's going to elect to limp in here. And Madaffrey just, how's that? Just take all of them. With the Queen Jack suited, he's got a dominating hand over Stephen's Jack 7. Stephen's going to put it in the bin. We're going to move on to the next one.
So with a huge number of entries into the main event, it certainly looks like we'll go into Tuesday. I don't think that's going to finish on Monday night, so there's still plenty of poker to be played here at the Oakwood Premier over the next few days. And Josh, one of the probably the more interesting events coming up is a sports poker teams event.
On
Sunday.
Yes, indeed.
Tell us about how that's going to work. Do you have to rock up with a mate and enter as a team, or how does that go?
Okay, I'll tell you how it goes. So on the schedule, it'll show you that the buy-in is $420 with a $80 ticketing fee. That's per person. So it's $420 per person to register. What you do is you find a teammate. We'll drop down the names of who your playing partner will be. You will play as individuals up until the end of late registration. And then at the end of late registration, you'll bag together. And then you'll play level for level until the tournament is complete. It's a pretty cool format. People love it. So if you've got a mate and you want to spend $420 for a buy-in and play with a mate and see if you can take down the guaranteed prize pool of $20,000 or more, make your way down on Sunday for the sports poker teams event.
And what a great opportunity to do that, because this is such an individual sport, and very rarely do you have a chance to play it, where you've got more responsibility than just yourself. And all of a sudden, hang on, I've got a teammate here and got to be making the right calls.
Correct. Yep.
So it's cool. It's not a big buy-in, which means you don't have to, be an incredibly experienced poker player. You will come up against some experienced players for sure, but I think that's one of the great parts of it too.
Agreed.
Down to something like this and testing your mettle. I mean, I look at this table here. This is a final table where you're going to know some of the guys here pretty well, but there's guys here that we've never seen before. So,
agreed.
And you've made a final table. That's the great thing about poker. So if you've got a mate and you play a bit and you think that'll be a bit of fun, that's on Sunday. Come on down. Or, of course, come down for the main event. We're thinking 500 odd players by the time it finishes, which is going to be a monster first prize if we're on those sort of numbers.
All in.
Well, I think if we get like 110, maybe, you know, something like 100 runners into it today and then another 120 tomorrow, 130, you are looking well over $500,000 in the prize pool. So
Wow.
should be a bit of fun. I'm excited about it, Harvey. I'll be honest with you.
That's $500,000, people.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
Even Sharps will rock up on time for that
Yeah,
one.
maybe.
I don't think he's playing footy on Monday, Tuesday. Anyway, back to the action here. Will has raced it up in the hijack to 40K, round to Luke.
Now,
A small blind. He's got 9-8 off.
tight, very, very tight. Luke will fold, I can tell you. Yes, he does. Another 20, discounted out of the big blind for Charlie here. Pitiful 9-2.
Great hand to double down in blackjack, but not that very good in poker. And Charbel's just rocked up to the game, so he's on his way in.
All right.
He's raced up here and he's outfit ready to go, cap on,
So
about to take a seat.
So you'll see him in a little while. We just saw him rush past us to head into the room, so he's not too far away. And I can confirm he's not in his footy gear. He has showered. And, well, I hope he's showered. And he looks okay. So I don't think anyone on the table is going to have an issue with him.
No, I don't think so.
So interesting story that we can tell off the back of Luke Tunnicliffe, who I did say I know pretty well. He did say that he got dealt 7-2 off about 4 times last night, and had to do everything to stop himself from shoving all in, because in his home game, if you win a hand with 7-2, you get a big blind from everybody.
Right, sure. Beautiful.
And his home game includes Tony Hasham.
Mm-hmm.
And
Fold.
the last home game that they had, which was last week at Jackson Warren, Shane Warren's house, Adrian got a 7-2 and pushed all in, and Tony called him with aces,
Oh, no.
and Adrian hit a 2 on the river to knock Tony out.
Oh, no. Dirty. It does happen.
So it happens.
Bit dirty, though.
And it's the 7-2 hand. He said he's just, every time he sees it, he gets all twitchy. That I've got to shove, but not in this. He doesn't.
Talking about shoving, under the gun here, Matt Thompson has shoved all in here for 145K with King 9, suited. Charlie's small blind. He's picked up the ace-queen off. It's going to cost him about a third of his stack to call. Just counting down these chips. Trying to figure out the math.
Got to think it's going in.
Does have Stewart behind him,
Factors all in.
but he's going to jam it over the top and hope that Stewart doesn't pick up a hand, which he doesn't.
Well, not a hand to call all in.
No, definitely not.
All in.
It's King 9 versus the ace-queen. 65-35 split in equities here. Off to the flop we go.
Oh, it's one of those really interesting flops here.
That's okay. Flop.
Oh, and the flop comes down to ace 3-7.
Ace. It's Charlie's miles in front now. Matt in huge danger, and that'll give him the check mark. The river's not going to make any difference here. We lose Matt Thompson
Player.
in 8th spot.
Picks up 15.50 for it. Showers for Matty. And we're down to 7 all of a sudden.
That story I just told you, funnily enough, the bloke who knocked Tony Hasham out with those aces just grabbed a mint off our broadcast desk. Tell you what, that you couldn't write that, could you?
Good on you, Adrian.
That's crazy. Just walked through, walked into the booth, grabbed a mitt and walked out.
There you go.
Maybe he was listening. Maybe he did that for that reason because he was listening. Very funny. So down to 8 now. 15.50.
Down to 7, in fact.
Sorry, 7.
Yep.
8th was 15.50. The pay jump, just a little 300 pay jump here to 18.50.
No, I'm not in Oakwood. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. So he's got another hour at least. Wow. It's going to be a bit stinky too. Oh, yeah. I was just going. The quicker
Fold.
we fold, the quicker that goes down.
Yeah, let's
It's
play
true,
now.
mate. It's true. The
Fold.
quicker we play, the quicker that goes down.
All in.
It's 20k. So Luke here's moved it all in here for 220k in the cutoff. With the ace-6 off, Charlie's going to fold this king-2 suited. Stuart with the same suit here. King-4 of clubs. He's going to fold. Round to the big blind, and Charbel, who's picked up the 7-2, he's going to fold as well.
Good pinch. It was a good pinch. Good pinch.
Oh, sorry.
Raised.
No, it's 20, 40, 40,
Yeah, blinds up this end. Sorry.
What is it? 24?
2, 4, 4.
44.
Oh, it's going to be bigger.
Half your stack is in the blinds.
15, let's be 15, 30.
That's what I thought. Isn't it meant to be 15-30?
15, 30?
Tony? Isn't this meant to be 15-30 now? Not 20-40? Yeah.
Jeez, it's going to be bigger.
That's a big jump from.
There's always going to be at least one big jump in the tournament. That was the one.
That's the one?
That was the one.
What's after this? 40, 80?
No. Come on, Will.
Should have done big jump should have been day 1, not day 2. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It is what it is.
And Stephen here picks up the pocket 6s.
Call is a 40.
Happy with the 5 or?
Five's fine, yeah. Is there toilet up here?
What's that?
Toilet up here?
Yeah, toilet's right there.
Is it?
He's under the gun here. Has to make a decision. I would probably fold this hand personally, but it's just not strong enough out of position. So he's going to put it in the bin. It's well played. But Daffrey here's going to fold the jack-8. Round to Luke. Picks up my second favourite hand, 8-6 of diamonds.
That's a common one, mate. The 8-6 suited as a non-premium favourite starting hand. Mine's actually 10-8, but
There you go.
8-6 is also pretty popular.
Charlie in the cutoff's going to raise it to 80k. Round to Stuart. He's going to move it all in with his ace-9. He's got Charlie absolutely dominated here.
Fold.
Charbel going to fold. Will fold. And Charlie facing a bet of 110 to call here.
Looking for a count.
Double. 190. 9.
That's 190 total, which leaves him 110 to call. What of his stack? Very weak ace. Just looks at the clock. Looks at the payouts. There's a lot to consider here.
Yep. Agreed.
Fold.
Does fold.
It's a good fold there.
People at home watching thinking, geez, he's already committed 80. It's only another 110.
Mhm.
But it's a good fold.
Yep.
Important chips there for Stuart.
Kana in the chair dealing the cards. New to APT. Came in, I think, at Eaton's Hill a few months back, and then here for Melbourne. He's done a great job. First time dealing the RFID table.
He was very keen to do it?
Yeah, he loves it.
Requested, didn't he? Can I come up and do the RFID? It's not backwards and coming forwards, which we love.
To be honest, though, Harvey, if I was wanting to deal a table, it would be up here, level 41, with that backdrop and
absolutely. Well,
intimate setting.
See it. Unfortunately, it's a little glary out there, but that is, I've said it all the way through this stream, in my opinion, the best view in Melbourne, and I live in this city. I live 10 minutes down the road, drive from here. I did not know this place existed, so they've kept it well hidden, but it's sensational here, the Oakwood premiere.
I agree. Some Daffy here under the gun. He's got the Queen 9. He's going to put that in the bin. Luke's picked up the second worst hand in the game, the 8-3 off.
I love how Luke's playing. He takes
Look at the poise. Love it.
Exactly the same amount of time. Looks around the table. Doesn't matter what he's got.
Jack's going to fold. Stewart here in the cutoff. He's picked up the King 7 off. Just run the hand before. Just having a look at the odds, having a look at the chip stacks. Really good spot to raise here if I was playing. But I don't mind the fold as well, which is what he does. Charbel, he's hasn't arrived yet, so he's going to put that in the bin.
We know he's in the house, but he's not on
Doesn't
our
take it
broadcast yet
As-
because we
yeah.
are 25 minutes behind. So, but we did see him run through past us and into the James Bond room.
I think he was grabbing something to eat. He said, "I got to eat something after footy."
But he didn't get a snag at the end of the footy. Barbecue.
I think he just ran off the field, gave a high five, got in the car, and drove straight here.
It's a crime not grabbing a sausage off the barbecue. It's like going to Bunnings and not grabbing a sausage. It's a crime.
That's true.
5 minutes you go. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. You 5 minutes to watch the extra around 4 minutes.
I was thinking of jamming there.
I jam over the top. What do you have? Kings?
What do you?
What do you have?
I've got kings there.
What do you have? Ace Queen?
Queen's in there, man.
What do you have?
That's a nice hand.
What, Ace 3
You'll
soft?
see it. You'll see it on the street.
Alright.
Call is a 40. Fold. Fold.
Yes.
So pocket nines here for Stu.
All in. Fold.
Stewie here's moved it all in the hijack. Pocket nines around to Stephen. The small blind's got the King 10, 2 overs, but he's going to put that in the bin. Daffy with the Ace Queen, yeah, sure.
Yeah, didn't even think, and in it goes. You're not going to think when you're sitting there on 120k. So the classic coin flip.
Okay.
King in the window.
The 10's coming.
Or King 10-10. I'll lose. I'll lose.
I don't know if you can pick up the commentary in the background from the players. He goes, if it comes King 10-10, I'm going to be spewing. He just folded King 10.
Yeah, me too. King 10 off.
On the logo. Ah. Okay.
Yeah, but he's never
Who are you
calling
on now?
370 with King 10, so
He's already got it.
it's very academic. These are the two players that are in. We go to a very important flop here,
There's my 10.
and there's a 10.
There's my 10.
I knew he was going to say that.
Oh, dear. It's pretty funny. The 10
Three.
card comes at 3, doesn't help.
It's got to be an ace or a queen.
If I just called it. Very good.
Oh,
And
yeah,
he
bang.
is. Rob survives. Hits the queen on the river. And he sits back down. He was walking. He sits back
100?
down.
100 and?
Yeah, 120.
Good on you, Robbie. Just hits a queen at the river there. Stewart gets his 9s cracked right on the river. We're still at 7. like Harvey said a bit earlier, 16,000 up top, 10,250 for second, 6,600 for third, 4,500 for fourth. Payouts are posted on the APT Live chat and pinned. And we are here at the Fevs Fever final table at the Oakwood Premier Melbourne.
Not for long, I'm not going to think. It's not very deep here. Even top chip leader is only 11 big blinds, I think. So it's not very deep. And feeling it might be a bit like a 10-pin bowling game. This one, I think, once one falls over, they might fall over reasonably quickly.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, especially with the the blind levels. And just the pace of play and the type of play too. They're playing a little bit wider than usual. I think they're probably trying to figure out if they can jump into the main event flight downstairs straight after this. So don't want to miss too many blinds in that.
I suppose the caveat on that with this is, with quite a number of non-regular APT players, they would be really playing for the pay jump. This is good money for them.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I don't think there's too many guys here who are going to take too many risks at this stage.
Agreed.
It's not too risky if you get dealt an ace queen, though. You've got to get your chips in there with that.
Charlie here picks up the ace queen.
He's raised it up.
Pops it up, makes it 80. Stuart here with the 8-4. Under the gun +1. He's going to fold that. Charbel, he's going to fold. We're in the bin and round to Stephen, who picked up the sixes, I believe, a couple of hands ago. He's going to move it all in for 160k. 2 more folds, and Charlie's going to obviously call this off. And we'll be going to another race. It's the ace, queen versus sixes type of hand. Standard in poker, especially in Texas Hold'em.
So
Stephen gets up and says, I'm in front. I know you got an ace, and he's spot on too.
So pretty much what we saw last hand. This time it's the sixes against the ace queen.
Which one are you taking, Harv?
I reckon we're going to hit an ace or a queen again. That's my
Ace, no queen. I'll be happy.
thought. But
Or 6 in the window.
who knows? It's a 50-50 split.
4th Street? Give me a 6 on the 4th Street.
No.
Yeah, 5, 7, 10.
Yeah.
6 is still in great shape here. 68, 32%. 5's not going to help the ace queen either.
I'm trying to get it.
And here comes the river card.
Can he get rivered again?
Oh,
In fact, didn't need it, but he's got it anyway.
5th Street.
Stephen throwing high fives to the people he just beat in the pot. It's not going to get many high fives out of that. He makes a full house, 6s, 4, 5s.
And I don't think anyone on the table's happy for players to survive either. They want them knocked out. So I don't know who he's thinking he's high-fiving there, but himself.
Yeah, sure. Unbelievable.
You made it.
So 2 in a row we've seen our all-in players survive.
You going to play the main? Mooney? No.
I needed that. I was on life support.
And Riff is asking,
I was
is
happy not to see any. No,
Steve P still in?
Well, we've got a Stephen P in there, so he is. If it's that Steve P.
He is.
He's actually...
He's in seat
Going
3. He's
well.
got 420k. He actually just doubled through last hand.
Fold.
Thanks for that, Oliver, in the chat. Yeah, we have asked the dealer just to lean back a little further when he deals the flop. He's got a lot going on, so obviously on the odd hand he does forget to do that. It's just the way we've had to set this up with a low ceiling here. We can't actually get the camera any further above his head.
Fold. Fold.
One of the difficulties of going into a room that's not really made for poker. We normally have a grid above us and lots of height. Had to adjust things in here, as you can probably see the tripods behind them and a bit of extra lighting, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit of compromise, and unfortunately that's one of them. We just can't get that camera over the table. So our dealer has to remember to lean back a little bit. We do keep reminding him, and we do appreciate it on your part too. Please, feedback's great. And any questions that you've got the right bloke in broadcast here, head of operations at the Australian Poker Tour. Josh Monk is alongside me. I'm not sure for how much longer. He's got a lot to do, but he's given up a bit of his time now. You love getting in here anyway, don't you?
It's a bit of fun. Yeah, obviously it's a bit of fun. I'm kind of multitasking at the moment. I've got my phone going, got the laptop out, got the screen going, doing some commentary, talking to the boys next to me. But getting it done. And why not call the action when I can?
Absolutely. No, good day for you to do. It's a little quieter here today. We've had so many multiple tournaments running, but we've got the final table of this one, and then obviously we've got a flight of the main event. I think once this is done, we'll have a bit of a break, and we'll come back tonight and broadcast a couple of flights, a couple of levels of that. Obviously, that's not going to be finishing. The event doesn't finish till Tuesday, so just give you a little bit of poker to watch tonight in the background. I don't think we're going to be on till too late tonight, Josh. We'll just show a few levels.
Yeah, maybe of the flight. Yep.
Of the flight, and
go from there.
Go from there.
Now, talking about the flight, I swear you can't make this up. We've got 39 entries in the flight already today. Started about an hour and 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, I was down there. There were 26 in when I was down there before this started. So,
gee whiz,
it's going to be massive.
And the
Saddies,
saddies,
seriously, get down. If you're in Melbourne, get down and play some poker. We love you watching the stream. You can watch it here. Come down and play and watch the stream downstairs.
Why not? Why not? Event 25, the Melbourne Champs Saturday that kicked off this morning at 1, that's got 31 entries in it. 20 players still remaining. About an hour or so until registration closes on that. And that's a 1 in 9, so we're giving 3 more seats away just in that Saturday alone.
So we've had an all-in from Stu here with the King 5 suit, the King Jack of Charlie calls, an extra 110. So this time it isn't really a coin flip as it has been the last two. Our all-in player at risk here needs to see some spades, I'd imagine. Or 5.
And the flop comes down Ace 8 King.
King doesn't help, of course. Bigger dog
Stewie
now,
needs a
Stu.
5. Doesn't hit it on the turn.
7 outs here though. You can see. And that is not one of the outs, so we lose Stu.
And we're down to 6, just like that.
Decided just to push a little harder towards the end there. And I did hear him say in that last conversation he wants to go and enter into the main event. So I think he'd be going from here straight down to 5 and enter.
Well played, Stewie. Well played, buddy.
$1,850 for his trouble.
That'll do it. Right directly into the main. There's 39 entries in it right now. But I think I've seen him for most of the week. I wouldn't be surprised if he's already got a seat or has played one of the flights, waiting for day 2.
And you're talking about the Saddie. Great way to get into the main event.
Yeah,
too.
absolutely. Yeah, and they're flying off the shelves, the Saddies.
$180, Saddie.
I believe that's the. I think it's 160 plus 20. I believe.
So what a great way to get into the main event.
But they're loving it downstairs.
Call is a 40.
So
Fold.
there's in fact 6 players left now.
Fold. Fold.
Luke is now got to make a decision. Not with that though. He's our short stack again.
Just trying to figure out what to do here. I kind of understand why he's taking some time. He's in the cutoff here. He's got 9-5. He's thinking, could I jam this all in and try and get everybody else to fold? He doesn't. Charlie here with the King 7. He would have got that to fold for sure.
Players not here, that gets you so
And
much
because Charbel hasn't taken a seat yet, it was kind of free money if he had jammed there. Hence the reason why he took some time to make a decision.
That's why he's looking. He's really only had to get by one player there, didn't he? And
I've seen it happen a million times.
wasn't prepared to take the risk. It's easy in retrospect. It probably would have been a good play for him to shove there.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a bit short again. Still above his starting stack. He sat down here with 130 tonners, so he's been able to survive 2 eliminations. Now Steve with the ace queen under the gun. Taking his time. It's a hand we've seen a lot of already. And looks like finally Charbel Suka's joined us.
All in. Oh, sorry. Raise.
How much, how much more?
Sorry.
Waiting.
Raise
Just
is
waiting
the
for-
115 and all in.
Just waiting for the. There we go.
I don't think I can fold, man. I've got too much in. It's just an extra how much?
Call is a 170.
So
Yeah, cool.
Luke
Ace queen.
also
Ace
with
queen.
the ace queen, and they're gonna see
Oh,
the
wow.
news.
I'm
that
happy to
they're
chop. I'm happy to chop it up. I'm happy to chop it up. Listen, but I
More
wasn't
than
gonna lose
likely,
the
I think
115.
everyone else
That's
is
what I'm gonna tell you right now. If you had more chips behind you, I would have had to fold.
Sit 4.
Pretty sure he picked up on the same thing here, Harvey, as I did. Have you noticed the last 3 or 4 all-ins that we've had? It's been versus an ace queen.
Yes. Just as you sat down, I said that's a hand we've seen a lot of in the last
Chop it up.
few hands.
Sure.
There's no flush possibilities there either, so I'll be chopping this up.
Elizabeth got
And
done.
of course, there is a queen on
I'm not
there.
even looking at it, huh?
Chop it.
There's Charbel finally sitting at the table.
Trying to make him sweat paint.
Good to have you join us, Charbel.
Any kicks?
Oh, yeah, I played in the middle, half back.
Please tell me you got a shout.
All right, here we go. We're going to get a full description of his reserves footy game here.
Yeah. Played half back, in the middle.
I was surprised you went.
Team first, mate.
Did he play or was his kid playing? I'm not quite sure what I picked up there.
No, he loves his footy. I'm pretty sure it's him. Yeah, he goes, I love still playing footy. So good on him. But it's good to have him join us. And everybody else at home who's watching. This is the final table of the Fevs Fever here at the Oakwood Premier, Melbourne. $500 plus $100 ticketing fee brought to you by Dazzler.tickets. In the box, Josh Monk with Harvey Silver. Got Matty Marshall and the team over here to the right, looking after the RFID table for you. And we're on level 41. Hand 18, I should say, of this final table. Here's Robert Daffrey here under the gun with Jack 10. He's going to put that in the bin. Round to Lukey. He's got Queen 5 off in the hijack. 40 to call. Hasn't really picked up a hand. I don't know about you, Harvey.
He just got that ace queen then. That was the first hand he's really got.
Right, 18 hands. The first hand was the ace queen. Had to chop it up.
And he did win one hand with the pocket nines when the sevens didn't call. He probably could have got some
Yeah, sure.
some
Yeah,
major chips there.
Good
That
call.
That was the only 2. He's very, very tight tonners, as I've mentioned a few times, and
Fold.
he's already jumped a couple of pay levels now. It's 2,350 for the next one out, so there's no need to get too frisky here, even though everyone's, you know, it's not deep, as I've said. Everyone's a bit short, but Yeah, the one that got frisky was our last elimination, to be honest. So playing pretty tight, pretty ABC poker so far.
And a Pano here. Got to cover up his mouth, COVID styles, and just have a look at what he's going to do. He knows that it's likely that Will limping in the small blind here looks a bit weak.
And
pick up.
exactly
King Queen's going
right.
to help too, just quietly. He's going to pop it up.
Will's just going to say,
115.
no. Okay. Have a little crack at that, but you have it.
Looks like the players might be going on a short break, which means we'll be doing the same thing.
There's an unexpected break. I wasn't thinking that was going to happen. And I'll just check with Maddie how long we've got. 7 minutes for, I was going to say 7 players, but there's only 6 players left. So we've got 7 minutes. There's a short little, this is a toilet break, if anything.
No, I think it was a 10-minute break, but that hand was dealt, and then they played out that
Gotcha.
particular hand. It built, you know,
Lovely.
it went into the
Okay,
break. So
well, it is a toilet break for us then. So 7
Agreed.
minutes. We'll be back shortly. Don't go anywhere. This is going to conclude pretty soon. Fevs Fever here at the Australian Poker Tour.
good.
Oh, no.
Nines.
Oh. And he's got one of your outs.
Oh, wow.
Nines have been going to them today.
Okay. Flop.
Chop it up.
That's it.
Turn.
Need an 8 for
Chop
chop.
it up.
Need an 8 for chop. Oh.
River.
GG's.
9 cell.
Nice.
Yeah, you can do it all. Play football and play poker.
A little bit.
Do it all, mate.
I miss. Yeah. I dropped
Good luck, boys.
Certainly.
Yeah, well.
Nice meeting you. Two hands, chip later. You believe that?
Me?
Two hands, chip later.
Sick. And my burger.
So we walk in, and unfortunately, Luke Tunnicliffe
Josh is here.
goes straight out after the break. Well done, Tunners.
Just on a roll.
Finished up 6th. He was ready to go home last night, I can tell you. There he's on the chat. Might push all this. You did, Tunners. You did push all in after the break.
So we lose Tunners. We are down to 5 players left. Charbel just having a burger there. Some chips.
Fold.
We're on the cutoff. Folds. Stephen P with the Nintendo 64 off-suited on the button. Jeez, he's a serious poker player, Stephen. And
Look at the face. You can't even see the face, can you?
got that Unabomber look going on.
Tunners would have, I suppose, hoped that Charbel stayed and sang the club song and just stayed away another few hands.
All fold.
Agreed,
Walk-
but
walks
Daffrey's
in and
out.
Gets rid of him.
But Daffrey's out. Fine, folds too. So as you can see here, 760k, 580, 480, 390, 130. 5 players left out of 92 in the field. Harvey Silva had to jump out of the comp box for a couple of minutes, so I'll call the action here. McCanna in the seat, dealing the cards first time this series. Has dealt the final table before, but
What was the 60?
first time on doing RFID during this particular series. Here's Will under the gun here with the ace-5 off. 60k to call. The blinds are 30, 60, 60.
Raise.
It's going to pop it up here
5.
under the gun to 125, render Stephen, and cut off. He's got the 8-2 off. He's not going to play that.
Fold. Fold.
For Daffrey, he's got the 6-2, even worse. He's putting that in the bin. Charlie with the 85, suited, the small blind. He's got 550k in chips. He's going to fold. Charbel here in the big blind.
Fold. All fold.
He's going to fold as well, and Will just picks up that pot there, increases his chip stack just a little bit more. Those of you just tuning in at the moment, this is Fevs Fever. Started yesterday at 6 o'clock. $500 plus $100 ticketing fee brought to you by Dazzler Tickets. And we'll bring you all the action, the Australian Poker Tour. With Tony Hashem at the helm. Trophy for this particular event. There'll be a ring for the main event.
Just saw him take that trophy into the room. We saw him in the hallway as they go through to this beautiful James Bond Casino Royale room. So Tony was carrying the trophy in.
Stephen with another pocket pair here. He's under the gun. He's got pocket 8s. He's had 6s, 7s, 8s now. Graphics just taking a moment to catch up. Covers his mouth under the gun. Pocket eights. Similar position, a few hands back. Pocket sixes, but eights are just a little bit stronger. He's going to pop it up.
At least.
Kind of doing a good job there. He's just told him that minimum raise there is 120. Chucked out 115, but going to have to make it 120. It's gone fold. Round to Will. It's in the big blind. He's got Jack 4, and that's in the bin too. So Stephen just picking up a few more blinds, and that's all she wrote.
Be honest with you, Josh, it's gone a little longer than I thought it was going to. Everyone was pretty short for a while. And still have 5. Been playing some pretty ABC poker though. This hasn't been the craziness that we saw last night. That's probably why I thought it was going to take half an hour, because I saw all the craziness last night. But they've been a little bit more succinct, these guys.
All in.
And here's Robert Daffrey here, just under the gun, pocket queens. Oh, wow, and he's just walked straight into the aces. If you don't mind, Charlie, with the Michael Jordan cap on, respect there. He's in the cutoff with aces, and what a great spot for him. Stock standard cooler. Charlie, he's just going to figure out what to do here. It's got 550k in his stack. It's 130 to call. We all know he's minimum going to call, but let's see what he chooses to do. He's looking at some raising chips. He's going to probably pop it back up.
He does say raise.
250. Sorry, 260.
He's going to pop it up, make it 260.
Fold.
Charbel's going to fold here on the button. Just go back to that hamburger. Stephen P. in the big blind. He's definitely not going to call. So it's Rockets versus the Queens, ladies versus the Aces. All in play here is Robert Daffrey. Hasn't picked up much. He finally picks up a hand like pocket queens and bang. Aces, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Here we go.
Getting on flop? Okay.
So on the ace for King.
He
They're
has
on
got
the
a
flop there.
flush draw though.
Flop the nut flush draw here with the pocket queens, but as you can see, Charlie here with the aces flop top set. Here comes the turn, down and dirty. Three's not going to help him.
River.
Needs a spade here, Madaffrey, otherwise he's gone, and that's definitely not a spade. Jack of diamonds, and that's all she wrote for Madaffrey. Charlie will pick up a few more chips there with a set of aces.
Well, as I say, it's not moving that quickly. We lose one. That's. I'll just keep saying that, and we'll keep
We'll be out of
pushing
here in the
thing
next
along.
10 minutes, huh? Beautiful.
Just, I suppose, because they weren't that deep to start with here. Our chip leader, I think, had 11 or 12 big blinds when we sat down. I was really expecting it to move through fast, but
Had 11 or 12 big blinds plus a football game to get to.
that's right.
Huh?
Well, he stayed that long because he wasn't sitting there, and
Sure.
he's now sitting there. That second chip leader is Charbel,
Sorry.
and we're down to 4. Fifth place there, $3,150. So congrats to Rob for getting that far. Thanks for the feedback too. I moved that microphone to drink my full strength Coke and forgot to move it back in front of my mouth. That's why I was a bit quiet.
Sure.
I'm back now.
Oh, dear. Good on you, Graham. Tom Foster there in the chat too. Tommy's a good friend of mine. Fortunately, lives over in the States now.
Right.
but might be a plan to come back soon. It's good to have you join us, Tommy. Miss you, mate. Anyway, round 2, Will. The ace-3 offsuit on the button. He's going to push it all in. Apply maximum pressure. And have a look at Steve. He's gone 6s, 7s, 8s and 9s now.
He's had so many pocket pairs. He knocked out another player with the 9s. I've got no doubt.
I mean, I think
we'll go again here.
In 4-way action here, I think you've got to call this. I mean, I should be asking Tom Foster what to do here. But I'm pretty sure I'd just snap this off and probably make the wrong decision. But I call here in the small blind. Charlie, the only person after him left to act. He looks over to Charlie, goes back to his chip stack. He's eyeing it off, the Unabomber.
A lot of looking. Not much movement from Will.
Look at Will like a statue. Headphones on. Old Phil Ivey styles from Full Tilt there, those big headphones.
Steve's got them on too. They're just under the hoodie. You can't see them.
Right, sure, yeah. He's got the Phil Lark going on there with the big glasses too, just quietly. Kind of looks a little bit like Matt Marshall, to be honest, from the side profile. Oh, dear. So Pano here with the pocket 9s. You've got to put him in the bin.
Oh, wow.
Right. Not a huge fan of that play, Pano, but you know more than I do. I'm sitting in the comm box and running the show here, and you're playing for 16 big ones up top, so what would I know? And Will gets away with murder there, in my opinion.
The 9s have been doing well too.
Now, is there a chance he can pick up 10s? I mean, he's had the 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s. I mean, he's due them. He has to be during them.
Probably won't matter. He'll fold them, so...
Yeah, probably. You're probably right.
We're only having fun here. Anyone who listens knows that I'm never critical of anyone's play. I think, firstly, I'm not good enough to be critical of play, but also everyone plays this differently, and sometimes it's just feel, sometimes it's... I mean, he obviously got the wrong feel there because he would have been miles ahead, but sometimes you just play on feel. Sometimes your ambition is, it's a pretty big pay jump here. Maybe I just want to see another player get knocked out before I put myself at risk. So that's okay. If he finishes up winning the tournament, he's going to look back and say it didn't make any difference.
I think subconsciously everybody watching is hoping he picks up the 10 so he can complete the next part of the pocket pair structure. He's going to follow the ace-3 here, round to Charlie in the small blind. Blind's at 30, 60, 60. It's only 30k more to call. He's going to pop it up here.
120.
Representing the GOAT there, Michael Jordan on the cap. Takes it 120, round to Charbel. He's got Doyle Brunson, the 10-2 off in the big blind. Sharp's half-eaten burger over there. Some fries left on the plate just after playing footy this morning. He's going to come along. And off to the flop we go. Yeah, sure. 6 in the door. No problems. Charlie in front here. Charbel's got a piece of it too with bottom pair. Charlie looking at the tournament clock. Got to figure out where the blind's coming up next. I think he said he's going to make it 120.
100.
No, 100 cold. Just a Benjamin. Round to Charbel. He snaps it off, did he? He did snap it off. And off to the turn we go. Here comes the turn 5. Puts down that 1 card straight on the board. I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue for Charlie, being totally honest with you. I think he's probably going to barrel one more time here. Charbel. 330k left in his stack. Charlie with 490. Charlie does have him covered. It comes down to how he feels about this particular hand. I think it's safe for him to think that he's in front. He's going to check it. Round to Charbel, who snapped it off on the flop. And down to the river card. And the river card does bring in that flush. And a check by Charlie. Charbel's might contemplate betting here. He's going to bet 150. I like this by Charbel. It's a smart play. Not sure. Charlie is sniffing this one out for sure, and he's just going to snap it off. He doesn't believe it for a second. 10-2, straight in the bin. And Charlie's going to slap over the 8-6 with a
150 and call.
second best pair with the 8 kicker. Charbel just taking a pretty big hit there, to be honest. He's down to 180k. And Charlie just over the 1.1 mil now, Harvey. Charbel looking pretty perplexed there, given the odd facial movements. Thinking maybe I might have misplayed that one by snapping it off so quickly on the flop with bottom pair. Got his hand caught in the cookie jar, and Charlie was able to sniff that one out and just make that call. Anyway,
Monster stack.
we move on. Out of 92.
Call is a 60. Raise 120. Yes, 120. Fold. Only.
He doesn't have 120.
There's one.
100.
100. Just 100. Fold. Under call. All in call.
Come on, nines.
Nine's been coming up. Every flop a 9.
So hopefully 9 comes in.
I like the Queen 9 here personally. Natural 9 if you're a back row player versus the back row of the King Jack. Alrighty. Charbel here. All in for 180k with the Queen 9. Off to flop, here we go. Hand 26 here, pots are 480k.
Yes. Flop.
Queen's going to help him though. Don't worry about the 9. The Queen ball will help. He's made a pair of queens here.
Where's the 10?
And he's also got the clubs covered as well.
Give it 10.
Off
Flush.
Flush.
No, flush.
and flush over flush here. Charbel making
Yeah, Queen
Anyway,
better.
Where's the 10?
Bolts himself.
10 clubs still coming.
Roll out a few more.
What's that?
Ah.
Hold your window card, 9, huh?
I said it, did I not call it? The nines are playing here today. I don't know. Oh, it is what it is. That's poker.
I had 2 clubs as well.
Really?
Yeah.
You're flop.
And they still get a flush.
Oh, it's there.
4 clubs. Fucking hell.
might just call this hand with you, Harvey, and I've got a phone call meeting overseas.
Good, mate.
So I hope you don't mind.
Shout out to operations.
Appreciate it, Harvey. It's always good to be in the box with you.
Call is a 60.
Again, thank you, Josh, for joining us. Our head of operations, taking time out of your day.
Like I said, oh, look at Will. Don't worry about what I said. Here's Will here. He's got pocket aces here in the small blind. It's going to be a blind-on-blind battle. Be dirty if it's a cooler.
I think it's just a call there to keep Steve in. Steve is going to push here.
Yeah, he might jam this
He'll
here in the
jam
big
it.
blind,
He'll
and he
jam
will
it.
too. And
Yeah.
look at Will. Just thanks very much for coming. Don't worry about it. Just snaps it off.
Call.
And he's dirty there too, as you can see. Steve, he's absolutely ropeable. We also got the aces here. Stephen has to jam that hand in on the big blind there with King 10. Makes the correct play.
Absolutely correct play there.
Oh,
Because you just know Steve's got anything, he's going over the top there. So this time I am on the aces. Let's see how we go.
a gut shot. He's picked up the gut shot here, Stevie. So got a chance, an outside chance
And
here.
he said the nines have been coming the whole day. So are we going to see a 9? It's a 9 and a 9 only to save Steve here. Still 4 of them in the deck. No, it's next door. So we lose Steve. Big hugs. And
500, I think.
We're down to 3. Perfect time for me to finish, actually, Harvey,
How
to be
good.
honest, to take
How
this
good.
phone call.
GG's, mate.
thanks again, Josh. And we're working our way through this field. It has gone a bit rapidly now. Down to 3. Our 4th place takes out 4,500. And thanks again to Josh for joining us. And I'm sure you'll be back on the broadcast later tonight if you can.
Or as my friend Tom Foster would say, always a pleasure, never a chore.
Love it. Thanks, mate.
See you.
So, take you through this to the end. We'll have a little break and we'll let you know when we're coming back with the broadcast later tonight. We'll be showing a bit of the flight of the main event. No event actually concludes tonight, so we have no final tables later on, but we'll definitely come back and give it a little bit of poker to watch.
Once we chop the chip leader takes the trophy.
This one is going to be finishing pretty soon now, 3-handed.
Oh, no, ask the boss.
Do you guys want to have a look at if we do a deal, whoever has the chip lead, the tournament ends.
They are chatting about a deal.
Alright, we'll skip play. We'll skip play.
They've decided to keep playing and not do a deal, so
All right.
I don't think Charlie's that keen, to be honest.
Ace is holding up today.
Call is a 60.
Whose chips are good?
So if we split, so it's you guys can do whatever you want with the money. Split however you
So
want.
if we split it, you get the trophy because you got the most chips.
But as
That's
soon as the
how it
deal
works.
is done, the tournament ends.
Raise
whoever has
120.
and the win.
Fold.
Really want to end, though. All right.
Call.
So, as I say, just having a chat in the background about potentially doing a deal between them, splitting
Heads up.
the prize money and Charlie taking the trophy, but it's not going to happen. They're going to keep playing, and to be honest, I think that's the way it should be. Play it out. We'll just wait for those graphics to catch up, but we'll,
Raise 120 and
with his King 10.
number 8 fold and just the number 2 call. Thank you.
So we now, oh, he's flopped. Quads. Is that right? No, that's not right.
All in.
Maybe he has. Just wait for these graphics to catch up. I shouldn't be
All in and fold.
guessing them. No, it's not quite right, that
Serious hands, it's not that good.
graphic. So just move on from that. Sometimes
Blinds up.
the RFID sensor doesn't quite pick up the chip in the card. It takes a little bit longer to register. We've also had a couple of times where it's had a misread on a card, and that can happen because the player's bent the card too much and looking at it, or just hasn't put it entirely in the box for the reader to see it. So doesn't happen very often. Seen it probably twice the whole time.
Call into 80. Blinds up.
So action here now on Charlie, who is our chip leader.
Raise to 160. Fold. Fold.
So the raise takes the blinds. We're at 30, 60 blinds and a 60k ante. Again, those graphics just hanging on the screen a little bit, taking a little bit long.
Have you got 1 mil?
Chugging away. See there that Charlie's holding 54% of the chips. In a really strong position here. Charbel getting awfully short. Can feel a bit of a shove coming, and there it is. It just has to look down and see an ace, and I don't think he even looked at the other card. Shove 270 in with an ace 7. We're down around to Will. Can't see what Will's got yet, and that's because one of those cards is not in the card reader. Fold it, whatever it was, but Charlie's got ace queen, and it's a snap call, of course.
Just 100.
And Charbel is not in good shape here.
Flop.
Going to the flop. Gonna need a 7.
Turn.
Still needs a 7 here. He's only out. Or a 4 now. And as they have been saying the whole day, 9s have been very popular, but the 9 does not help Charbel, and he's rushed back from playing footy this morning to collect $6,600 in 3rd place, so well worth his while for the trip, I think. And he also had one of the delicious burgers provided here at the Oakwood premiere, so I think it's been a good afternoon. Well done as we head down to Heads Up. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to have a bit of a break here. I think we might. I think we're having a 6 or 7 minute break. I think the boys may discuss doing a deal. I'm not.
Can you pause the clock or no?
I'm not optimistic that there'll be a deal. I think they'll play this out, and
Adam, can you pause
hopefully they do. But while they decide, and while we reposition them for the cameras and do everything that we need to do up here, we'll see you back in 5 minutes for Heads Up.
Yes, yes, yes.
Can you please pause it?
40, 80, 80. Yes. Thank you.
Am I small blind?
It's a 40, 80, 80. Yes, big blinds. Thank you. Call is 80.
Call.
Call.
Is there still empty there?
Yes, empty, big blinds. Check. Check. 80. Raise to 200. Call. All in. Fold. I see placement. 40. Call is 80. Call. 160. Fold. Call.
$220.
Raise to 220. Fold.
I thought there's no empty in there's still empty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Call is 80.
$210.
Raise to 210. Fold. Raise to 300. Fold. Fold. Button is here, right?
Oh, yeah.
SBB we play.
Big blind, right?
SB.
So back on commentary with you, Harvey Silver, for this heads-up battle for the Fev Fever title and $16,000 up top. Reliably informed there has been no deal done between these two guys who are now on very similar chip stacks. 40-80 blinds, and Charlie with one of my favourite non-premium starting hands, 10-8 suited. Will with the 8-9. So call a raise here out of the big blind. He's going to give it up. Of course, you can see that beautiful Australian Poker Tool glass trophy in the foreground of the table. That, of course, in addition to the 16K first prize. All the trophies here. Something that you would put on the mantelpiece or straight to the pool room, as they used to say. There it is, get a better view of it in that shot.
Raise to 210. 440.
Charlie raising. Out of the big blind, suited ace. Will now folds. So these two continue to go back and forward. Of course, we've got the main event here, Melbourne Championships, which will be played on Monday over to Tuesday. 4 flights to get you into the main event, and we're anticipating a prize pool of upward of potentially 500k in that prize pool, so plenty of reasons to get down. It's been really, really popular. All the flights, we're 4 away from the guarantee before today's flight. The weekend hadn't even started. Huge numbers. Melbourne has been starved of tournament poker outside of Crown, of course, so players have rallied and pretty much busted every guarantee apart from this one. We needed 100 to bust the guarantee here, so organisers putting in a little bit extra prize money. It's all about timing and schedule with this one not quite reaching the guarantee, with a flight of the main event running concurrently to this. Yesterday it was so busy down in that main room, but every other guarantee has been busted by a long way, and as I say, the main event guarantee was only 4 entries away from being busted after the first 2 flights of 4 flights, so there's going to be enormous numbers. And we've also got that sports poker teams event tomorrow. Oh, that'll be really interesting. Opportunity to come down, bring a mate and team up and play team poker. Don't get a chance to do that very often in such an individual pursuit, so very very interested in seeing how that works out. I covered the state of origin, I should say, event where there were teams representing their state and coming up against each other. That was really cool, so very much looking forward to that as we again see Will with the jacks. Raise it up. It's been called by Charlie with the ace-7. Couple of diamonds there and a 966 board. Charlie really not in good shape here.
Bet the 250.
Bets out anyway on a board that's very safe for Will. He re-raises it. This is going to be a big decision here for Charlie. This is probably his tournament right here. He decides to call. It's going to be really short. Another 300 out of his 890 stack. I think he's probably going to be committed to this hand. If he calls, he probably isn't calling here. It's probably a re-raise all in or a fold, I would say. And it's a fold.
Odds are up. 50, 100, 100.
Yes. Thank you. Calls 100.
So another race here for Charlie.
Raise to 200.
And Will also has an ace, but it's Big Slick.
All in.
And he's not mucking around with that, putting Charlie to the test again. With just 690 behind now. He's got to make a decision on whether Will's just pushing him around or whether he's got it. And you hate to call all in with weak ace. Does happen to have even a mid pair. You're so far behind. Little does he know he's completely dominated here. So, as poker players say often, this is a pushing hand, shoving hand. It's not a calling hand. But we're heads up. Charlie getting a bit short stacked. Really thinking about it.
Fold.
And he folds. Another good fold from Charlie. Sure, there's plenty of people at home applauding there because a lot of people would think you've got to just call that in this position. Thinks better of it. It's easy when you can see the cards, isn't it? It's really hard when you're in that spot. Good fold. So Charlie lives to fight another hand. Last two here
Calls 100.
in the Fev Fever event. They're playing for $16,000. No deal has been done. So to the winner goes the spoils, the full money, and of course that beautiful trophy that you can see sitting there in front of Will.
Raise to 200.
Will continuing to raise pretty much every time he has the opportunity to do so. Just a min raise here and a call from Charlie with the Jack 7 suited. It's 6, 8, 9. Will flopping
Check.
2 pair. Charlie, the open ender. Really interesting flop. Both these guys will be thinking it's an ideal flop.
Check.
Both of us. Charlie needed a 5 or an 8, and then he hits it. Hits the 5. Gives him the straight. You can see the outs for Will now. Charlie in a great position here. Decides to check it. Let Will put the rest of those chips in, which he does. And Charlie calls straight away with the made straight. And Will has those 7 outs up the top of your screen to win this. Does it end here?
River.
It does not. 3 of clubs was not the card to end the event. So Charlie now vaults back to the chip lead. And just when you think it's finishing, we've seen this a lot this week in the APT. We've had quite a few events where it was just about over and players have climbed back out of the coffin. Not least the Hashem deep stack. I've never seen anything like that on a final table. I've never seen players hit so many 1-outers and 2-outers on the river to stay alive, including our top 2 there. If you missed it, go back and have a look at it on YouTube or on Facebook. But that Hashem deep stack, firstly Daniel Klinger, who finished second, was all in with ace 2 against aces. There was 1, 2 left in the deck, the 2 of hearts. He hit it on the river to stay alive and finish second. And then our winner, Murat, was in with pocket 7s, was completely dominated, and then hit one of the 2 7s left in the deck on the river to stay in the event and finished up winning it. It was just some unbelievable stuff going on there. And they weren't the only 2. That happened quite a number of times on that last table, final table. I'm sure that we'll be making a reel out of that. That'll be watched around the world by millions. But back here, after surviving that all in,
Raise the 250.
which saw him behind to 2 pair on the flop, Charlie raises up the Jack 8 to 250. Will looks down at another ace. This time it's the ace 6. And he looks pained. I think the pain is just how much he's going to raise here.
All in.
It's an all-in raise. So again, putting Charlie to the sword. I just can't see Charlie with $1 million behind calling off a Jack 8 suited, but he has pretty much been tanking on every hand.
6, 7, 8.
He's not going to make a fast call on anything here.
8, 60. 860.
860 in total.
Yes, total.
So 60 more. I already put 250.
No.
It's just trying to figure out how much more it is. It's plenty.
Could this be the hand?
muck. I'll have another quick look and have a chat to himself. I can't see him calling off that many chips with a Jack 8.
Fold.
Eventually does fold.
So which one?
No.
So as we draw to the conclusion of this one, I want to remind you that we will be back on the broadcast later tonight. There's no event actually finishing tonight, so no trophy to be presented, but we'll get back onto this feature table with some of the main event flight that's underway. That main event is going to be huge here. Monday, go over into Tuesday for sure. Expecting a prize pool of somewhere around the 500k mark if the two flights that have been completed are any indication so far. We've still got the weekend. Will very attractive Queen Jack in two-handed play. He raises it. We get a call for another 150 from Charlie. 6-4 suited, and we go the flop again. King, ace, 7.
Check.
Check from Charlie. Will's going to be reasonably confident that Charlie's not holding an ace, just calling that raise. So whether he puts him on holding anything of any value here,
Good for both of us.
likely he's still ahead with a Queen Jack, so he bets. Just 100. It's a min bet. 100's a lot when you're only got 680 behind you. You can't say that
Fold.
Charlie hasn't taken his time making decisions.
Huh? You see it on the stream.
Asking for a bit of info and getting the answer that you normally get up here. You'll see it on the stream. 25 minutes behind we are. We'll see that he made a good decision there. But he's getting a bit short now, Charlie, with 100k big blind and 100 ante. And sort of getting to the point now that he's either going to want to get it in first, or if he's
Big blind.
put to the test, he might just feel he has to go for it. Again, all he needs to do is win one hand, one all-in hand, and he's
Fold 100.
way in front again, so there's a lot of back and forward yet. Certainly not a shoving hand, that one, the 9-7.
Call.
He just decides to call. Will has him absolutely spent here. He's got a 7 with a queen, and they're suited. I think he's just going to check his option here.
300.
300.
Decides on a 300 bet. And again, Charlie put in a position where can't really do anything here. Can't just call. He's completely committed if he calls. So it's shove or a fold, and it has to be a fold with a pretty pitiful 9-7. Just got to wait, be patient. Hopefully the next couple of orbits he picks up something that he feels he can play as Will creeps closer to this title. It's the Fev Fever. It was Brendan Favola's signature event. We had him up here last night, actually sitting right next to his daughter Lenny. He did really, really well. And she, in fact, beat Fev, even though he was on the table here longer. He had to buy back in before she got knocked out. So, to me, that's a win. Bragging rights to Lenny.
Two cards.
Glenn Maxwell was up here. Steele. Yeah, the great Glenn Maxwell, Australian cricketer. Had a massive chip lead for a while. Playing poker the way he plays cricket. It's whacking at everything. Very entertaining it was here last night again. That'll be up on the stream. On YouTube, Facebook. You can watch that back too. A lot of fun last night. A lot of chat. Before they played through till 2:30 in the morning. And we got down to a final table, which came back here at 2 o'clock today. Been a bit longer than I expected. But we are now down to our final two. Will looks down at another ace. He has looked down on so many aces.
250.
Raise to 250. All in.
Can you get a count, please?
This time, Charlie does go all in. And I've just been informed by our production team that the graphics are around the wrong way here, okay? The graphics are around the wrong way. So it's actually Charlie with the ace-7. Is that right? Yeah, it's okay. We've had a bit of a graphics problem. So just watch the hand without watching the graphics because
Jack, just
it's around the other way. So it's Will with the Jack-9. Sorry, with the Jack-4. It's not a Jack-9. It's with the Jack-4. All in with ace-7 is Charlie. I hope you're listening. I hope they got the audio up at home because you're not going to have an idea what's going on here otherwise. And it's come out King 5, 8.
Okay.
Just waiting
Turn.
with the turn. Queen.
River.
So here's the river. Oh, it's a jack. It's a jack, and that is it. And it was always going to end like that, wasn't it? So, again, apologies for the graphics there if it confused you at all. But as I said all the way through there, Will was holding the Jack-4. Charlie had the ace-7. He's hit the jack on the river to take it out. Congratulations to Will.
Diamond Jack, right?
Congratulations to Will.
Yes. Jack.
Everyone just trying to figure out if they've got it correct, and they have got it correct.
The ace club and diamond 7.
So they're just working it through, but it is a win to Will. Congratulations in the Fev Fever, and well played to Charlie, getting rivered there at the end. Thanks for joining us. Keep an eye on the socials. We'll let you know when we're back tonight with a little bit of the main event flight, but for now we're going to have a little break and enjoy your evening.
And turn is a